Hey, it's Jenny B from vitalitybyjenny.com, and today I wanted to talk about how to be on a raw food diet if you're a teenager. Because I've noticed that there's actually a large number of teenagers that are interested in doing this diet, but they feel like they're coming up with issues kind of coming up against a wall with either their parents or with social issues, or just how to go about actually eating this food when they don't really have the approval of their parents. I was going to kind of come at this from the perspective of a mom and sharing with you what I would like to hear if my teenager was coming up to me talking about a raw food diet or wanting to make the switch to a raw food diet. So my first suggestion is to really be open and honest with your parents, and to really plan to talk about this thoroughly with them before just assuming that you can just make the switch and they're going to be okay with it. Because as a mom, I know that all we want for our children is for them to be the healthiest and happiest that they can be. And we, as parents, we have our own ideas of what they need to do to accomplish this. And we've become accustomed as their parents for doing this for them. And as a teenager, now you are taking over the reins, and making more of those decisions yourself, but it's still hard for parents to kind of let go and allow those choices to be made. And so you can kind of help this situation by really talking with your parents and showing them why it is that you want to be doing this, and that you're not going to be hurt by doing this. As a mom, if my daughter were to come to me and say that she wants to eat this raw food diet, or she already tried to eat it and I find out about it afterwards, then I would feel like she, coming from a standard American diet, if I had no knowledge of the raw food diet before this and I found this out, I may feel like she has some type of eating disorder, and I would be in protective mode, like, oh my gosh, I need to help my daughter. And so instead of going about it that way, you should really be upfront and honest with your parents before, making this switch, and talk to them about several different things. So the first one is you need to help show them why it is that you're doing this. What's the benefit? And not just from your own words, even though what you have to say, of course, is going to be very important to them, but maybe you guys can read a book together about it, a raw food book, maybe the Douglas Graham 80-10-10 book, or watch some of the documentaries that are out there about becoming vegan. And if you guys can sit down and watch them together, or both you and your parents read a book together, or separately, but then come together and talk about what was in the book, the points that you really liked, or the points that you'd really like to get across to your parents, this sort of thing, and then be open to listening to what your parents have to say about everything that they've just read. And the main point here is to really just get them involved. Parents, while it may not seem like it sometimes, they really do want to be a part of what you're doing. They want to be supportive, but it needs to happen in a good way, so that they don't feel like threatened by this decision of yours, by this complete change in dietary preferences, because it can be challenging, it can be threatening to a parent. Americans in general have a lot of confusion about what they should be eating, what is a healthy diet. And so with all of that confusion out there, it's very easy for parents to feel threatened by a teenager's decision to make this choice to go raw, because it seems so extreme and they may not know if it's healthy or not. So being open, being there with them to explain why you feel like it's healthy, why you feel like it's best for you, backing it up with documentaries and books, and being open to hearing what they have to say, what their fears are about it, and both sides talking about it openly will go a long way towards helping you and your parents to, come to a good mutual conclusion about where you can go with your diet. So in this process, I would suggest that you be open to suggestions from your parents, or even just open in general to not being 100% raw. Now, I say this because you can have a very, very healthy diet that isn't 100% raw. As long as you maintain a low-fat vegan diet and high raw, then you are going to be getting almost all of the benefits from eating raw foods without coming up against so many challenges, especially from your parents. So if they know that you're at least still eating some, rice or quinoa, or you know, you can eat some vegan meals or some of the sides that your mom makes for dinner or whatever, then it's gonna make them feel a little bit more comfortable, you know. And you don't, I'm not saying that you have to do this or that you have to not be 100% raw, because go 100% raw. If that's great for you and your parents, then by all means do. But I'm just saying be open if it's more comfortable for your parents and for you at home, while you're at home, to eat a little less than 100% raw, then, you know, be open to that suggestion. This also helps make social situations better for you and your friends, because you can still go out to eat with them and choose, you know, as much raw food as you can on the menu with some cooked carbohydrate foods like rice or vegetables and beans and that sort of a thing. And so you can find that generally in about any restaurant, and so that kind of makes the social situations a little bit easier on you. Okay, and the next thing that I want you to really talk openly with them about is the cost of being a raw foodist. Even as adults, the cost of eating a 100% raw food diet is sometimes prohibitive. It can be expensive to eat a lot of fruit. And so by expressing your knowledge about this and that it could be a strain for your parents, by saying, I realize that it costs more to eat 100% raw, and coming up with suggestions on how you can see to reduce this cost. So if you have a job, then maybe you can contribute a little bit to the food bill, or you can, you know, make food choices that are going to be less expensive. So say to your parents that you will, you know, base the majority of your calories on bananas, since they're the cheapest fruit that you can buy, and you can buy them by the case, and it's only about, you know, $25 to $30 or something like that. And you could live off of that with some supplemental other fruits and greens, you know, for the week, and that will kind of cut the cost down as well. Or again, be open to not eating 100% raw, maybe eating raw for breakfast and lunch and then eating cooked for dinner, because the cooked vegan foods such as rice and beans and quinoa, that sort of thing, are all cheaper than the fruits. But just being open and expressing to your parents that you understand that it's more expensive, and being a part of the solution, trying to help come up with a solution with them as to how everyone in the family can feel comfortable, so your parents aren't stressing their budget for this decision that you want to eat this way, and so that you can still eat this way. And the last thing is, don't expect your parents to change with you. Now, I know it's hard whenever you start experiencing all these wonderful benefits, or you're learning about all of the great things that eating a raw food diet can do for you and your family. It's hard sometimes not to want to help everybody else change with you. But if your parents aren't ready to change, then they may feel challenged by your asking them to change, or your desire for them to change too, and it will cause a rift and may make it harder for you to maintain your own raw food diet. And so I suggest just really honoring the fact that you're going through your journey, your parents are also on their own journey, and you being a great shining example of the raw food diet will help more than what your words will. So I hope that that helps you in some way in dealing with the issues that you can come up with with your parents when you've decided to be a raw foodist. Now, having said all of that, I would encourage you to, you know, go out there and really give this a shot, because yes, the raw food diet, the low-fat raw food diet is great for teenagers. It's great for everybody. And I wish I had known about it when I was a teenager. It would have made sports so much easier. The same benefits that adults get from the low-fat, raw vegan diet is what a teenager could experience, especially because your hormones are going through so many changes. Your body itself is just going through so many different changes at this time. And so it's going to feel a lot easier. Those changes are going to be a lot more mellow, if you're eating the foods that your body is meant to eat. So again, I hope that this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to address them in some upcoming videos. If you would like a free recipe ebook that will help you start a low-fat raw vegan diet, then you can just grab my instant download at www.happysexyhealthy.net, and I hope to see you there. All right, love you guys. Bye.